Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Florence Unitarian Universalist Fellowship in our very temporary setting. We love the Senior Center. Yay! I want to remind you that we do take pride in honoring the first people of Florence, the Siuslaw Indians, who strive to protect our environment, especially where we are today. We give thanks to the tribe, past, present, and future generations. So for those who are new to our setting today, we start our service by singing the prelude hymn, which is titled Spirit of Life. The words are in the program. Jeff is going to play the melody, and that's as good as we're going to get. So rise as you are able. We're going to sing Spirit of Life. If you don't know the words or the melody, just make it till you make it. Ready, Jeff?
Spirit of life, come unto me, sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion, blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, in life the shape of justice, prove holy foes, wings set we free, Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
Very nice, very nice. I start with my reminder to me and for all of us to put our cell phones off or on mute or whatever you do. We don't want to hear it, do we? Paula. Woo! I love to pick on Paula May. And please remember to remain fully masked while you're in here, unless you're at the podium and it's easy to take the mask off so you can be heard and seen a little bit better. So inside your program today, you'll see birthdays and calendar announcements. We don't have any birthdays coming up for a couple of weeks, but Mary James is first on the docket, and then we have the famous foursome, Deborah, Jennifer, Natasha, and Renee, all on the same day. I know, and then Linda and then Rosemary round out the month. So happy birthday to everybody. Dean Schrock will hold his meditation class, Connecting with Your Soul, always the first Tuesday of every month at 5:15. And we're going to be kayaking the Silk Coos River Canoe Trail. When I say we, there is no M in we. That is not going to be me. It's going to be you. Sunday service next week is Dr. Dean Schrock. And then where are you going to do? The North Jetty Loop on the 10th. That's a hike. And then we have our board meeting on August 10th coming up at 3:30. I think we're still meeting at the Florence Library in the conference room. Right. And what else is there? What else is there? Are there any special announcements that we have? I do have one I'm going to handle in just a minute, but maybe, are there any announcements that you want to make? Judy, yes, come on.
Yeah. So we're deep into the You the Vote campaign. That's
Deep into the vote.
Deep. That's one where we're writing letters to voters to encourage them to vote. These are people that don't always vote when they should be voting, and when they do vote, they probably vote the way you would like them to. So, good project trying to get as many people out there, especially in key congressional and Senate districts. I have packets right here of 20 letters, 20 envelopes, and instructions all about how to do it. So if you'd like to grab a packet, I'll sign it out to you, maybe bring it back next week, take another one. If you do that, we have 100 days until either the election or these have to be mailed. I can't remember which. Election, okay. So, I think if you could get 20 a week done, that would be phenomenal.
That would be great.
Also, would love donations of stamps or money for stamps. At 60 cents a pop, this is an expensive little project, but we could use the help with it. So, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Judy, and to the Indivisible group. Fabulous. That's just fabulous. Great project. Kudos to Jennifer, my Jennifer. I think she's already written 5 packets, so she's already done her 100 letters. Has she done 200 letters?
You guys have done a lot.
She's done a lot. Yes, it's nice. Little love letter, the heart, you know. So again, just trying to encourage these people to vote. Not trying to tell them how to vote, but just vote. Any other announcements? I want to thank, who came here early? We had Karen and Jim and Paula was here early and Tuvia to help meet and greet everybody. Thank you. It really
And
takes a...
Suzanne.
I'm sorry?
And Suzanne.
And Suzanne. Where's Suzanne?
She walked in the third floor.
Oh, Suzanne, I'm sorry. Yes, I'm thinking. Where's Suzanne? Oh, you mean your better half? Yes, and thank you, Suzanne, helping move tables, etc. Is there anybody, I know this is a loaded question because I know there is there anybody here for the first time that Karen would like to have, give you a gift? So I see some people standing in the back. So what I'd like to do is I would like to invite Jason and Paula and Gretchen up front. We're going to invite you up here. We have a special announcement. Deanne, you can come too if you want. That's, you know, this is like these three people. So it's my pleasure to introduce to you, Gretchen is the new executive director for something development. She's the new executive director for the Peace Harbor Hospital Medical Center Foundation.
Oh, wow.
Okay? Paula is the president of the board of the foundation. Deanna works at Spruce Point, yay! And she is married to Jason Hawkins, who is the executive of the Peace Harbor, Peace Health, Medical Center, et cetera, He's the big kahuna. So, Jason and the group are here to say a few words. Speak into that microphone. Yes, you can take that off.
Thank you. Well, good morning, everybody. Thanks for the opportunity to be here today. Sally, thank you. We have a chance to say thank you for all the hard work you all did with us. Thank yous for our caregivers. But as I thought about coming here today, this third year of the pandemic has probably been the most difficult year. The last 12 months, the Delta variant about this time last year hit us pretty hard in Florence. And then we followed it up with a vaccine mandate. We lost about 5% of our caregivers because of that. And then over the holidays, Omicron hit.
Yeah.
And we've had 5 versions of that that's been hitting us. And while the hospitalization rates are kind of going down, the infection rates are going up, right? So I appreciate you all masking here today. That's awesome. That is really awesome to see. It's still the best thing you can do.
Yep.
So, but along the way, you know, our caregivers and providers never blinked, not one bit. You know, Diana's in the back there. So. But they continue to take care of themselves, which is the first thing you have to do, because if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of the community. And we have one of the lowest infection rates of all of Peace Health in terms of caregivers. So even while they're not at work, they're doing well, but when they're at home, they're keeping their social circles really tight, and that allowed them to come to work. And you know, along the way, we thank them for what they do. We give them free food. We have a food truck every once in a while, and of course, they're working overtime, double time, and we pay them for that, and that helps with the things like that. But really what gets them coming back every day is filling their heart, and it has been fulfilling here in that regard. So, they got into this to take care of their family and friends and neighbors, and probably at a point in their career more than ever have they been able to do that. And there's a little, maybe you don't know, every department, every shift, every day has a huddle, and a huddle board, and we talk about patient handoffs and what things are working, what things aren't working. We take a small moment and we do a recognition. And there's nothing more powerful than someone reading a letter from a patient that was there a week ago, a month ago, and calling out a few people's names. And that is really fantastic moments in Peace Harbor when we're able to do that. So with you all taking time to do 400 plus thank yous, and I'm getting feedback from providers and caregivers already about those notes, it really supercharges them and gets them back to work the next day to take care of everybody. So just want to say a big thank you for all that. And I don't know if Gretchen or Paula, you want to add anything to that?
I think Jason put it best, but I just wanted to come and personally thank you for it. It was so considerate and kind of you to do that. Thank you.
Also just want to thank Sally too for her service on our board of directors, and Sally, and especially all of you who did that, because we're a really small, mighty team there. And so having everyone's help in the community so we can keep up the good work is wonderful. And I've been able to go around and to see some of the providers and other caregivers, you know, the ones that work the night shifts, the weekend shifts, you know, sometimes they feel like they get forgotten, but they sure like it when we come around, and Jason's really fantastic at that too, and it means a lot. So thank you for helping us continue to do the work we do here for your community. Thank you.
Yeah, I've had the fortune of serving pretzels at 5 a.m. to the staff, with all the cheese and all the different toppings. But when Paula, who was our president of the board, asked how they might properly thank us for the postcards that we did, I said, you know, why don't you come in person and just say hi? I think it might be better than flowers. So thank you, Jason, thank you, Gretchen, and thank you, Paula. We hope you'll stay for our service. We will totally understand if this freaks you out, you need to leave. Just saying, I'm thinking you're gonna like it. We've got Reverend Dennis Reynolds, he's got a great message today, okay? So anybody else here for the first time, did you give him a book?
I did.
You did.
I
Now,
did.
you may recognize the book because those were extras that we actually gave away at the gift store a couple of years ago. But these are a special gift that we give to all of our first-time visitors, just to say thank you for being here, and they're great haikus. Any other guests here for the first time? Oh, hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Good, I'm good.
Well, who are you?
I'm Mary Ann.
Hello, Marianne.
Yeah.
What brings you here today?
Well, I've been to Unitarian groups before.
Okay.
Not for a long time. And I just have this intuition I should.
I think you have a good intuition. So Karen has a book for you. Yes. And if you want to ever fill out our guest registry before you leave, we can add you to our newsletter and keep you informed about what's coming up, okay? So welcome. Sit back and enjoy. Welcome. Okay, I think we're going to light the chalice. Who I got lighting the chalice? Catherine. I'm going to share these words that are attributed to the Buddha. These words are reported to be his last words. Be ye lamps unto yourself. Be your confidence. Hold to the truth within yourselves as to the only lamp. Blessed be. Catherine's going to lead us in our ritual of joys and concerns. Are you ready with that?
I am.
We're gonna come on this side so we can remain fully focused on the camera. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Oh, so good to see all of you. It gets a little bigger each week. That's very encouraging. This is the time of the service where we share our joys and concerns. We do this to let each other know what's really just going on with us. We do it for support. We do it to share our joy because it helps us all to feel good when somebody is feeling joyous. And we do it because we care about each other. And then we know that we can go and help the other one, you know, if you open up enough. So if anyone wants to share anything, please, as Sally said, come up on this side. She has the microphone, and you can finish the ritual by placing a shell in the cleansing water.
I think Jeff has something to share.
Just a concern for Suzanne Hines and the whole family, actually. Some of you may have known James Hines passed away last Sunday evening, and wonderful guy. I knew him for 3 or 4 years in men's group, and he was a very big man with an even bigger personality. So, and there's a card over here you can sign afterwards.
And you will take the card to her today, right?
I will.
Mm-hmm.
So I have one joy and one concern. Actually, 2 joys. Okay, we'll go with 2 joys. The first one is we had a fun game night last night. Whoever didn't come, you missed it. But the ones that were there, we were a small but mighty group, and we had a great, tons of fun playing Mexican Train. So we will be meeting next month, the last Saturday of August, in Foo. The new Foo. Yeah, so that's a awesome accomplishment for everybody. Well, mostly Deborah. Seriously. And the other joy that I have to share with you is that I'm having surgery on my foot on Wednesday. So send tons of positive thoughts about 7:30 when you wake up, whenever it is, on Wednesday morning. I'm knowing that it is going to be a fully reconstructive surgery that will allow me to walk as much as I'd like to walk. So,
Congratulations.
thank you.
No drop.
That was 2 in 1.
Well, I wasn't going to do this, but with all these health professionals here, I thought maybe I should mention it. The concern is that our community chorus, for the first time in how many years, Deborah? 2?
2.5.
2.5. We're going to get started August 11th, but we've had some pushback from people because they're objecting to having to wear a mask while singing. It's not impossible. I mean, we can talk with a mask on, so you can sing with a mask on. But anyway, that's my concern, is whether or not we can put it together after all, depending on how many people show up. But you guys wear masks already, and some of you know how to sing, and so
Let's show them how it's done.
this is kind of a segue. I'm not going to be here next week. I have to go up on the mountain and raise cars. Somebody's got to do it. But Deborah's probably going to be here, and she is our secretary, treasurer, and way too many things. We need a secretary. But she will be able to tell you what to do. And it'll be August 11th at the Presbyterian Church, like we've always practiced before. So anyway, my joy is that we're planning on doing it for the first time in a long time. The concern is that there are some people that would participate, but may not. So it's up to you to make it happen.
Thank you, David.
My first is,
Put up your mouth.
my first is loving concern for Suzanne. Jeff has already told you about the loss of her husband. And it was on Friday, the most beautiful celebration of life service I've ever attended. Several of you were there. And Jeff, thank you. He had a poem he wrote that he read. Thank you. And Suzanne is just, yes, reaching out to her with love and support. So that's my first shell. And my second shell is, I have stopped by now 3 times over the last several weeks, just to see what's being done, because I go out that way. And I am so impressed. I had no idea we were going to have such a beautiful hall. If you haven't been in to see what's been done, I urge you to take a look. It's awesome what they're creating in that space. So I want another shell for George and for all the other people. And I know that George has been there working all 3 times when I brought him. So George, I want you, and I know that Deborah has helped a whole lot with making the money work. Everyone in this room who has helped here in any way, please stand up and let's thank you with a round of applause. Don't be shy. Please stand up.
George, Deborah. I'm already standing.
Thank you, Ann. Thank you, Ann. I have one more for Maggie and Chris Mello. Now, they're new to FOOF for a few months. Their furry companion, Rumi, who they've had for many years, died fairly suddenly before they could get him to the vet. Most of us know how tragic and difficult it is because they are our companions. Sometimes they stand in as our children. And so I have a card over there for them, something about the Rainbow Bridge, some of you might know about. So, put one in for rooming. And the last one. Last one, yes, please, for all those we don't know about. For all those sitting somewhere, wishing they were here, and all those just enjoying themselves and thinking of us. Reach out to each other. Dr. Lisa Rankin, she's an oncology doctor in Marin. Every day is an opportunity to deepen your connection to the people you value. When you let your heart feel, become resilient to shame and your judgments of others. Learn the art of forgiveness. Practice being authentic. Lay bare your soul. You allow your mind to work its wonders in optimizing your body for its natural state of self-repair. We do that in Joys and Concerns. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Which microphone am I using? We're going to do an opening hymn, right? And then we're going to do a little meditation after that. But I think we have some people who are going to come up front here and help lead this song, which is Morning Has Broken. You probably know the melody. You might not recognize the words necessarily. So please welcome the Foo 3. As you are able. And let's sing Morning Has Broken.
This is our attempt to be a choir. If anybody would like to, like with David, if anybody would like to join us, we're going to try to do this every Sunday, practice the hymn so that people know how to sing it. So come and join us.
It's a waltz, ladies' choice. All right, just like we rehearsed.
Yeah.
Do you want this microphone too or not?
Yeah, like we rehearsed.
Yeah.
There you go. Oh, here we go. All right, here we go.
And we did it with masks on.
Yeah, they did it with masks on. So it's my pleasure to introduce Reverend Dennis Reynolds from Eugene and his wife. Suzanne is here, and I invite you to come on. way.
We'll do this way or that
I'm
way.
gonna go that way.
I was reminded before I share, I invite you to share in some meditation time. This morning, over in Eugene, and we got the kind of light that you more frequently see on the coast. Those times when there's just a little strip of sky opening between the clouds. And that's what our sunrise was in the valley this morning. Morning had broken. And I was reminded of how we can look to nature to invite us to be fully present to our own lives. I invite you now to join me in a spirit of meditation, and it's drawn from a style from the Buddhist teacher who I want to honor in this morning's service, Thich Nhat Han. It's in a style of his. And the words are words that came to me. But first of all, let's just practice breathing in, holding a moment and breathing out. Just breathing together, focused on the breath. Out. Feeling it in your body. Hearing it softly within as we breathe in and out as a community, what the Buddhists would call Sangha. Breathing in, I am a meadow. Breathing out, I am roaring. Breathing in, I'm a bud on a tree. Breathing out, I am unfolding. Breathing in, I'm a babbling brook. Breathing out, I am flowing. Breathing in, I am a mountain. Breathing out, I am solid. Breathing in, I am the ocean. Breathing out, I am endless. And for a time, just in and out in silence. Take a deep cleansing breath in together and just out. Big cleansing breath, okay? We're pretty settled in here at the moment, right? With the singing together and silence together. I have a story I want to share, and I had a nice email communication with Sally about what I call the stories for all ages. And that I take that quite literally. Sometimes it's for children who may be in the community, but it's also for the child that's within all of us. And the story I've chosen is from a short selection that has a few stories in it called Zen Shorts by author, illustrator John Muth. And I recommend it when you're trying to figure out, what gift might I give to a grandchild or other child. A little Zen story. That I recommend. But in this story, in this book, three children meet a panda who moves in next door, who, though they don't explicitly say it, the panda is a profound Zen teacher. And his name is Stillwater. Okay? So we're going to open this story with an encounter. And, I don't know if the camera will pick up the photo, so you may have to find the book. All right, so, at any rate, so the story begins with Michael, one of the children, went to see Stillwater. And when he gets there, he can't find Stillwater, and he looks, and here I am, called Stillwater, who was clear up in a tree. Can I come up, said Michael. If you are careful, said Stillwater. So then they're up in the tree. What if we could fly, said Michael. We could cast shadows on clouds, said Stillwater. What if we fell, said Michael. If we fell, we might break something, said Stillwater. That would be bad, said Michael. Maybe, said Stillwater. Maybe, said Michael. And this is the story that Stillwater shared with Michael. I invite all of those who are present in the room, if you want to check out the illustrations, the book will be. There once was an old farmer who had worked his crops for many years. One day, his horse ran away. Upon hearing the news, his neighbors came to visit. Such bad luck, they said sympathetically. Maybe, the farmer replied. The next morning, the horse returned, bringing with him 2 wild horses. Such good luck, the neighbors exclaimed. Maybe, said the farmer. The following day, his son tried to ride one of the untamed horses and was thrown off and broke his leg. What unfortunate circumstances, the neighbor said. Such bad luck. Maybe, answered the farmer. The next day, the military officials came to the village to draft young men into the army to fight in the war. Seeing that the son's leg was broken, they passed him by. Such good leg, cried the neighbors. Maybe, said the farmer. And that's the end of that tale from Still. Now we've got a reading in Solomon Irish.
Who starts?
I think you're the first part.
Am I
Get
reading?
my script.
I don't remember. Okay,
I'll get the script.
and I'm going to sit right here. So this is a reading called Please Call Me by My True Names.
And it's from Thich Nhat Han.
It is indeed. Are you ready? Shall I start? Okay. Don't say that I will depart tomorrow. Even today, I am still arriving.
Look deeply. Every second I am arriving to be a bud on a spring branch, to be a tiny bird with still fragile wings, learning to sing in my new nest, to be a caterpillar in the heart of a flower, to be a jewel hiding itself in a stone.
I still arrive in order to laugh and to cry, to fear and to hope. The rhythm of my heart is the birth and death of all that is alive.
I am the mayfly metamorphizing on the surface of the water. I am the bird that sweeps down to swallow the mayfly. I am the frog swimming happily in the clear water of a pond, and I am the grass snake that silently feeds itself on the frog.
I am the child in Uganda, all skin and bones, my legs as thin as bamboo sticks. And I am the arms merchant, selling deadly weapons to Uganda.
I am the 12-year-old girl refugee on a small boat who throws herself into the ocean after being raped by a sea pirate. And I am the pirate, my heart not yet capable of seeing and loving.
I am a member of the Politburo with plenty of power in my hands. And I am the man who has to pay his debt of blood to my people dying slowly in a forced labor camp.
My joy is like spring, so warm it makes flowers bloom all over the earth. My pain is like a river of tears, so vast it fills the 4 oceans. Please call me by my true names, so I can hear all my cries and my laughter at once, so I can see that my joy and my pain are one.
Please call me by my true names so I can wake up and so the door of my heart can be left open, the door of compassion.
The door of compassion. The words of Thich Nhat Han. It is really good to be here with you folks today. And I just enjoy the opportunity to come over here. There's a special energy within small congregations that come together to be, as I said, what the Buddhists would call Sangha, a community of spiritual seeking together. And particularly in these times, it's been a difficult 2+ years, and in recent months the world situation has worsened for many. Heat waves sweep the country. It's been really hot in the valley. Wildfires scourge, and European forests even are burning this year. In even chilly London was 104 degrees Fahrenheit. And there's a war in Europe with its global economic impacts. All this deeply touches our hearts. As the General Ulysses S. Patton and later president claimed long ago, I'm Ulysses Graham. Why did I say Patton? And he might have said it too. War is hell. And I'm not sure Patton didn't like a little bit of it. But though our Universalist heritage teaches us that we need not fear fire and brimstone in hell after we die, we recognize that humans have the all too real capacity to create hell right here on earth. The fires of war are burning in Ukraine, and they simmer still in South Sudan and in Syria. Today I want to take some time to honor the life and legacy of a man of peace, the Vietnamese Buddhist teacher, Thich Nhat Han, called Thay by his students, who died last December. Thich Nhat Han knew war. He grew up in Vietnam, where World War II became a war of liberation from the French, and in time became what the Vietnamese call the American War. He was not himself a warrior, at least not in the way that most of us would use that word. But he was, in his own words, a simple monk. And as a simple monk, he sought peace, deep peace. And his work has touched the minds and hearts of millions. He was a courageous seeker of deep peace and a more sustainable and peace-filled planet. He brought forth new notions within and about Buddhism, engaged Buddhism, and a deep sense of the concept of interbeing, where precepts he expanded on and brought to the West. Interbeing. Now that's what he was attempting to speak to so powerfully in his poem. Therein he lifts up the Buddhist notion of how we are all connected, and that all beings, great or small, visible or invisible, near or far away, are connected. At the time of the poem's writing, war was raging in Uganda, and information about the excesses of the Soviet Union's forced labor camp in the Soviet Union were surfacing in our news here in the West. In those times, many were fleeing the post-war chaos in Vietnam in small, barely seaworthy boats. Those refugees faced not only the perils of the open ocean, but were preyed upon by desperate pirates who attacked them. Thay had heard an account of the suicide of a young rape victim who was part of those boat people who had in agony and pain taken her own life. That inspired the poem. Therein he invites us all to recognize the reality of connectedness, that there is victim and pirate within each of us. We are deeply connected. He invites us to wake up, to wake that door of our hearts can be left open, the door of compassion. In these times when war rages in Europe, when all the impacts of climate change across the world are occurring, we need our hearts to be open. In these times when divisiveness and political and cultural still churn here in the U.S., we need our hearts to be open. In our times, we might add some more stanzas to his poem. I'm the Ukrainian mother holding tight to my children while bombs fall around me and rockets fly overhead. I am the Russian soldier, pockets filled with sunflower, who lies wounded on a roadside in a country for which I feel no malice. I am the Western low-wage worker whose family budget is strained by inflated prices as corporate profits continue to soar. I am the parent waiting outside the schoolhouse door to learn of my child's fate. I am a faraway observer whose eyes fill with visions of violence, seeking a way to comfort and offer assistance and peace, both far away and within. We are all connected. You know, the Beatles described it as I am you and you are me and we are all together. I mean, who knew what Buddhists the Beatles were? Once though, and this is a little tangent, once when John Lennon was asked if he might come back after his own death, what would he, want it to be? And he said, I don't know, but I hope, it'll be peaceful. So they embraced that possibility. As Unitarian Universalists, we describe this notion of inner being as recognizing that we are part of an interdependent web of all existence. We have a bumper sticker on a car, not the one I drove this week, but the one that's usually in town, that reads, "We are here to awaken from the illusion of our separateness." It's a quote from Thich Nhat Han. This is the core of the teachings that Thich Nhat Han shared with the world. I first became aware of Thich Nhat Han back in the 70s when I first encountered his writing. I had read about how the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. had nominated this Buddhist peace activist for the Nobel Peace Prize. So I decided to check him out. The earliest of his many books had come to the U.S., and I bought a copy of one of his earliest books, Peace in Every Step. By the way, one of his earliest publishers was Beacon Press, our own Unitarian Universalist printing house. So we've helped share his messages. Anyway, though I replaced my copy of that particular book, I remember his tips about how we might find moments of peace in our everyday life. For example, he suggested when we are stopped at a red light, we have a choice to make about how we spend that moment of time. We can either anxiously fume at the interruption and get all upset, or we can take a moment to perhaps loosen our grip on the steering wheel and simply breathe in and out and take that moment of peace that is given to us. How we respond to what happens is a choice. He also suggested that the simple practice of focusing on what we were doing right now rather than planning for what comes next or reflecting on what happened earlier. One suggestion he had was when washing the dishes, to simply wash the dishes. To notice the feel of warm water and maybe even a little bit of glistening light on a soap bubble. Savor that precious moment, being, as he described it, mindful. That's mindful as one word, not mindful as two words, which is what I all too often do when I fill my mind with past regrets or future plans or forever lengthening my to-do lists. I found I could use some of his suggestions to find moments where I touched on this thing called mindfulness, but the connection with all life, he claimed, could come from deeper meditation practice, was something that for many years was inaccessible to me. I tried to meditate, and I tried, and I tried. Year after year, I would be somewhere where there would be a time of meditation. I would try to be in just that moment, just breathing in and breathing out. I unfortunately had very limited success. Soon my mind would wander off to the past or the future. What meditation practitioners call monkey mind would chatter away inside my head. When I tried to will it into silence to get that monkey to just shut up, It would sometimes simply chatter more, and a debate between my intention and my experienced reality would rage in my head. The monkey would argue with me. Shouting at that chattering monkey was of no help. I would simply get up and walk away. A number of years ago at a Unitarian Universalist camp at Elliott Institute, I had a bit more success. The way Elliott works is there's a theme speaker each morning, and in the afternoon you go frolic in the woods and swing in the lagoon and a bunch of other fun stuff. A number of years ago at that camp, our theme speaker was the Unitarian Universalist minister James Ishmael Ford. James Ford is both an ordained Unitarian Universalist minister who served congregations in Chandler, Arizona, and Providence, Rhode Island, and James is an ordained Zen priest as well. James had suggested a meditation technique of counting breath as a way to give focus to a busy mind and allow something settling into meditation. And it worked, sort of, though the busy chattering of monkey mind would often fill my head. During the week at camp, James offered not only multiple times during the week for meditation groups, but also an opportunity for a one-on-one conversation with the Zen master, James. I signed up, and when it was my turn, I explained to him my problem of thoughts continually rising up and taking over the silent space in my head. He smiled and said it happened to him all the time. The key, he suggested, was to just notice thought as they arise and watch them as they drift in and then drift out. To not focus on the distraction, but rather to notice and then return to breathing in and breathing out. I kept trying to meditate, though that often meant carving out quiet time that didn't seem to exist in my all too busy life. The next year at Elliott, I resolved to join the meditation group that was meeting early each morning. I would get up early enough for a morning run and then fulfill my parental duties by getting my then young son Nick to the swimming lagoon for a 7 a.m. polar bear plunge. Then I'd run off to join pre-breakfast meditation. One morning, while quickly drying from my plunge, a friend greeted me and asked how my week was going. I explained, I'd love to talk, but I have to run to meditation. Run to meditation, they queried. Yes, I replied, I have to run to meditation. Then as I heard my own words, I had very much missed the point. So I stopped, smiled at my wise friend, and took time to enjoy that beautiful morning. After I relished the warmth of a shower I took before walking, not running, over to the central dining room for breakfast. As I noted, I first encountered Thich Nhat Han through his writings. As I began to prepare this sermon, I wanted to pull some of my books off his bookshelf. I discovered we have 15 of his books at our house. They range from a biography of the Buddha, Old Paths, White Clouds, to theme-focused writings in book titled Anger, Wisdom for Cooling the Flames, or The Art of Power Reconciliation. And there's Healing the Inner Child. Love in Action is one of my favorites, and even one he co-authored titled Savor, Mindful Eating, Mindful Life, which he co-wrote with a food writer. There is also The World We Have, a Buddhist approach to peace and ecology, and the one currently on our bedside table, which I gave to Suzanne for Christmas, but then it's been mostly on my side of the bed. Zen and the Art of Saving the Planet. And there are more out there. He's written over 100 books. Beacon Press is soon releasing a special edition of his guide to meditation, The Blooming of a Lotus. I recommend it. I have been reading his words for decades, yet for much of the time I have not always practiced what he preached, which is to slow down, to walk slowly, slow down, to breathe, and to pay attention. I often find that hard to do. I am what I describe as a doist, with endless lists of things to do, and when that list gets too short, I take out a pencil and add some more things to the list. That seems to resonate as true for some people in this room, right? As I may have shared with some of you, 7 years ago, I had a very serious, life-threatening pulmonary illness and sepsis that followed that landed me in an intensive care unit on life support for 4 days. I couldn't breathe without help. My recovery after was mostly at home, and it was long, and I was for a time incredibly weak. I had muscle wasting and all kinds of secondary impacts from the sepsis. I was unable to think clearly due to both illness and the pain medication I was on for a time. All I could do was sit quietly and breathe with deep gratitude for every breath. So, this is meditation. I liked it. I liked it a lot. And in the midst of that quiet, I began to notice more closely the birds at the feeder outside the window. I noticed the way the sunlight moved through the yard as each day progressed. As I began to heal and spring returned to the world all around me, I was just a wee bit more aware of the buds that formed and then unfolded in the trees in my yard and all around. I learned out of necessity at first and intentionally later to walk more mindfully. It seems my illness had been both good luck and bad luck, all mixed up. That spring, 2 Buddhist teachers, Larry Ward and his wife Peggy Rowe, came to live on Whidbey Island, our own little village of Langley. It's said that when the student is ready, the teacher will come. Well, I was very ready. Peggy and Larry were soon leading weekly sits at a venue just a short walk from our home. Day-long silent retreats soon followed. They were students of Thich Nhat Han, and his teachings were part of our shared times, and his words were interwoven with our time spent silently sitting or walking or eating together. I and Suzanne enrolled in a 6-month training called Mindfulness Mastery, and I spent more hours sitting and walking. The individuals who gathered each week became a community of fellow practitioners and seekers. We became a Sangha. Thich Nhat Han said, the great miracle is not to walk on water, but to walk on the earth mindfully. With Larry and Peggy's guidance, I began to learn what those words meant. The following year, Peggy and Larry moved away from Whidbey. The Sangha continued to meet with a small group of us Cisco facilitators. That group disbanded after another year, but the seeds sown there generated within me and still generate each season. I still occasionally sit with Larry and Peggy online. Now meditation has become one of the things I regularly add to my to-do list. And I've learned through practice to be more mindful, as I do many of those other things, walking or working in the garden, baking bread, washing dishes, this afternoon, paddling a canoe, or even writing a sermon. With practice, I find my mind can be a little quieter some of the time. In these dark times when we're still under the lingering shadow of the pandemic, and as we witness the continuing stories of war and conflict and climate catastrophe, I find I need to practice mindfulness to ground me and to help me see all that is and all that may be possible. I want to close with a few more words from Thich Nhat Han. When light shines Darkness does not disappear. It merges with the light. It becomes the light. May you walk simply and mindfully in light. Happy soul.
Thank you, Dennis. So you're a doist, and so am I. I have to add my meditation to my list. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for coming over. Thank you, Suzanne, for being here too. It's a pleasure to have you. And enjoy your canoeing today. Okay? So we have a community partner this month and next, and it is food backpacks for kids. And for those who don't know, we raise money and we contribute to that organization so they can buy food and or backpacks, whatever they need, to help those kids who leave on Friday afternoon from school have at least one good meal for the weekend before returning on Monday. So we're going to be passing our offertory basket where you can have a chance to contribute to food backpacks for kids, or if you'd like to contribute to the health and well-being of this fellowship, we will appreciate that as well. And for those watching on our video, if you'd like to contribute, you can do so by sending us a check to P.O. Box 2502, Florence 97439, or anybody can visit our website and click on the donate button, and that's an easy way to do it. And if you're unable to contribute today as the basket comes by you, just please pass your hand over and give it some good mojo, shall we say. And before we begin, I ask that you repeat after me. Divine love through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am,
Blesses and multiplies all that I am,
all that I give, and all that I receive. I am prosperous now. Blessed be. Also, too, we wanted to make a reminder that Food Share is looking for volunteers, and so keep that in mind as we go forward. Sorry, Tuvia, we didn't have any more time for that, but Jeff's going to play some wonderful music as Karen passes this basket around. She'll weave her way through the tables. Again, if you're able to give, thank you very much.
Yeah, this is food and this is the background.
I've got the monkey mind down to the sun.
You have a whole committee.
Oh, yeah, got it. My nickname is a kid with speed. I'm really slow anyway, so I really have a great time. As long as I don't judge myself, I can do it. I went to a retreat in Paso Colorado for almost hours to Zen Buddhist. So I usually went out for a hike with the nature. Sat in a couple of meditation things. I'm sitting there cross-legged, really uncomfortable, and the Buddhist is next to me and says, "Get a pillow." Right. So it didn't trouble me. So it helps me to one up, one down. Well, I'm learning. I just have to live to be 1,000. But I don't want to fill the garbage tailgate. That brings up a little out of focus.
Thank you, everyone. Your contributions, I hope you know, are received in grateful appreciation. Blessings. Thank you. Catherine's here. We're going to extinguish the flame as I share these words from Barbara Tuscan. Because of those who came before, we are. In spite of their failings, we believe. Because of, and in spite of, the horizons of their vision, we too dream. Let us go remembering to praise, to live in the moment, to love mightily, to bow to the mystery. Blessed be. Dennis and I have a closing benediction, also from Thich Nhat Han. And do you want to use, we'll stand together? All right, who's going to start? Am I the S?
You are the yes.
I am the S.
He is the D.
Let us be at peace with our bodies and our minds. Let us return to ourselves and become wholly ourselves.
Let us be aware of the source of being common to us all and to all living things.
Evoking the presence of the great compassion, let us fill our hearts with our own compassion towards ourselves and towards all living beings.
Let us pray that we ourselves cease to be the cause of suffering to each other.
With humility, with awareness of the existence of life and of the suffering that are going on around us, let us practice the establishment of peace in our hearts and on earth. Shalom.
Salam.
Amen.
And blessed be.
Thank you. So we're going to gather in a big circle around these tables. We're going to hold hands, lock arms, or not. It's your choice. We're going to sing our peace song. And if you'll stay afterwards, I'm sure Dennis would welcome a discussion to continue on his talk. He's got the book up front.
Or we can think about it together.
Or we can just do it. Catherine is available if anybody would like some affirmative prayer. Just see Catherine. Wave your hand, Catherine. Where are you?
There we go.
There she is. Jeff's going to join us. He's going to cue up the music, and we're going to sing our peace song. Thank you. Look around. Look below.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with love as our center, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the